Hello and welcome. This is the continuation of the lecture Evaluation of Teaching Quality, a research proposal. It has not been submitted, but it was supposed to be submitted to IIT. And I hope somebody amongst you somewhere sooner or later would change it or adopt it or adapt it. And I am available for consultancy and submit this to somebody like IIT. It is an extremely important issue and a large number of papers have been published on this. So this is lecture number 6. Critics of current methods of evaluating teaching. The most well-known method of evaluating teaching is if you ask a student that given 8 teachers or 10 teachers or n number of teachers, who is the best teacher? He'll give you an opinion or she'll give you an opinion. You don't have to take that opinion, but that's the easiest way. Asking students to evaluate teachers or teaching. That is called student evaluation of teachers or student evaluation of teaching, SET. The commonest form of teacher evaluation across the world even today. In fact, in 2005, a survey was taken and it was found that 97% of teaching evaluation takes place in this form. That is, students ask faculty, or students are asked by the institution, given a form and asked how good or how bad a teacher teaches and what are his or her weaknesses. The most widely method, and as I said, more than 97% of institutions according to one estimate in 2005. Drawbacks: none of the desired criteria are met satisfactorily. That means the students are evaluating teaching under circumstances which are beyond the control of the faculty. In some teachers would have to be teaching in a large class, some teachers would be teaching an extremely difficult subject, some teachers would be teaching a non-interested students, and all kinds of factors come into play, which is not really the faculty's problem, but it gets added as faculty's problems, and as a result the opinions are not really as reliable as it could be. And my own experience is in doing this work for 9-10 years that students don't really take it seriously. They would, I'll show you a form which we used in IIT Kharagpur for quite some years, and then it got changed. But the unreliability is significant. This is a form which we used in IIT Kharagpur and also to some extent in IIT Delhi for some years. Look at this form carefully. Look at the last line of the form. It says overall rating of the teacher, and above that it says registered students' academic effort in studying the course, and above that it says rating the course structure. What we do, in fact, we have 2 forms, 2 pages. The first page of the form rates the teachers. We ask the student that rate the teacher on a scale of 1.5, 1 to 5, and 5 being 5-point scale. 1 is poor, 2 is below average, 3 is good, 4 is very good, 5 is outstanding. Rate the teacher on a 5-point scale. at that time they don't get any of the above the first the top criteria. Then once they have completed that, they are asked to judge the teaching behavior, as we say, or teaching characteristics or teaching criteria of the students, of the faculty, like knowledge of the teacher in the subject area, clarification of the objective of the course, simulation of the interest in the subject area, promotion of analytical and logical thinking, clarity of presentation, inclusion of recent developments with real life experience. Why do we do that? Why do we ask this? My own purpose was in research is to trying and finding a correlation between these top 18 factors and rating of the teacher. If I vary variable number 1 and find that it affects the quality of the teaching, the quality of the teacher significantly, I'll understand that this plays an important role in good teaching. Let us take the example. If I find that simulation of interest in the subject area, which is 4.64, if another faculty had a simulation of interest in the subject area who got 2.3 or below 2, and his rating, overall rating of the teacher was instead of 4.57, 2.5. A third faculty got a rating of simulation of interest as 4.9, and his rating was 4.85. What would I understand? What conclusion would I draw? I am likely to draw a conclusion that simulation of interest in the subject area affects teacher's rating very significantly indeed. So that is an important factor. So I am not only trying to determine the student, gather the opinion of the students about the teacher's ability to teach, but I am also trying to find out which teaching characteristics or teaching behaviors, as we call the left hand side, which teaching behaviors improve or reduce the quality of teaching significantly. This can be done by looking at the correlation, and you'll see how much work has been done in this area across the world. And then there are very, very interesting aspects to this. Student opinion is one way of doing it. Quality of evaluation, for example, 4.43, and there are a whole range of it. So this is one way of finding out. You ask the students first to rate the quality of his teaching, and then you ask the student to rate his subject matter knowledge, his ability to simulate interest in that area, or all other things, and rank them accordingly. The other criteria of teaching, teacher effectiveness could be extremely important. What we've done is ask students of their opinion, and as I've already said, there could be various factors, there are many factors which are beyond the control of the teacher, including one-sidedness, including partiality, including callousness, and whole range of other issues which could affect the rating of the teacher by the student. What could be much more objective. If we accept that the purpose of going to a university or a school or a college is to learn a subject so that we can do things which we could not do before effectively, easily, then that objective has been met. In this case, we look at the line 1. Student learning means student performance in a common final exam in a multi-section course. What does it mean? It means a lot of things. One has to look at it very, very carefully. We are saying we want to measure the student learning in an unbiased way. In many IITs and many other institutions, there is a system when a large number of first year students, for example, we take IIT Kharagpur used to take 1500 plus students in the first year, which all of whom have to go through computer science course, common computer science course. Some would go to first semester, others would go to second semester. In either case, a very large number of students will have to be handled. So, we would have multi-section course. There could be up to 10 sections, including first semester, second semester, and each section would have a very large number of students. Each section would be taught by a different faculty, and the course is common and synchronous. That means in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, faculty teach at a speed and in such a way so that they are learning more or less the same amount of material every week. This is synchronized. I myself have taught such courses at IIT Delhi. So, students have no choice which section they would go to. So, we have randomized student sample. We have a multi-section course teaching the same content, different faculty members. The examination, when it takes place, the examination paper is set by all 10, 12 or 15 faculty almost equally. Some would set some questions, some would set some other questions almost equally. When the examination takes place, all would take part in evaluating the examination papers, and it will be randomly distributed. Now, in such a course where the content is common, is being taught at same speed, where the students are not when the students are they're randomized. That means they do not have a choice of going to some faculty who is known as a good faculty, some faculty who is known as bad faculty. So, they are randomized, and the examination, when it takes place, you take the look at the grades. If you have accepted that the examination is fair and right, then and the grades reflect student learning, then the faculty whose students have the highest grade on average must be the best teacher. Let me repeat that. Our assumption is that the grades reflect learning, and the purpose of teaching is best learning, which will be reflected by grades. This is measured by randomizing student population in a multi-section class. In such a case, the faculty whose students may not be 1 year, maybe in multiple years or in multiple sessions, whose students do better than all others, must be a good teacher, because he is able to achieve what he sets out to achieve, or she is able to achieve what she set out to achieve. Now, if this be the criteria, and then of course let me add at this point of view, there is another issue other than student learning: student motivation for further learning. Frequency of students enrolling in advanced courses is the teacher's area of study. There are faculty members whose students do not do as well as some others. That means their grades are not necessarily the highest. But you will find a surprising thing. That means somebody who is good in, let us say, digital electronics, and you find students are not doing so well in terms of grade in digital electronics, but a large number of them flock towards the elective papers related to digital electronics. So, the faculty has been able to motivate students in his area of work. That certainly has to be taken as an indication that the faculty's teaching attracts students. They may not do so well in terms of grade, but they do well in terms of research interest in that particular area, faculty's area of research. This is nothing uncommon at all, and such faculty draw good number of good students. We have already discussed this: student instruct ratings, most usually used criteria, ACT, this is called also. But there is one problem with this in ACT: when students rate a faculty as very good, they are sometimes emotionally attached, and as a result, when they begin to rate his different teaching behaviors, they rate them all very good without being very critical. That is one problem they have. What is the evidence in favor of student rating as a valid measure for teacher effectiveness? We said there are many drawbacks, and I mentioned some drawbacks: partiality, factors beyond the student control, factors of teacher's control, whole range of things which are beyond the teacher rating. So, but what are the evidence in favor of student rating as a valid measure of teacher effectiveness? High retest and inter-rater reliability. It will be surprising to note that if a teacher is in every institutions throughout the world, all over the time, some faculty are known to be great teachers. Richard Feynman was an exceptional case, but otherwise also there are faculty who are known as great teachers, irrespective of time. How does it happen? How is it that some faculty are known as great teachers and it doesn't matter who is rating them, whether another faculty is rating them or teachers of students of one batch is rating them, students of another department is rating them, they are known as great teachers. So, there is a high retest and inter-rater reliability. This happens all the time. moderate to high agreement with evaluation of the same instructor by other independent judges. More or less the same thing, that if a faculty X is rated high, then this faculty X will be rated high by other faculty members also. It's most likely this will be so. Generally weak correlation with extraneous factors such as class size, strictness of grading and course level. Some people think that those who grade the students very strictly are given poor marks by the students. This is strictly not true. In fact, this is most often not true. Faculty who grade strictly but fairly are rated much higher than students, much higher than other faculty members who easily give grades but are not fair. Generally weak correlation with extraneous factors. Significant correlation with more objective indicators of teaching effectiveness such as student learning and student motivation, which is what we have discussed in the last slide. That means those who are given high rating by the students, their students usually perform better and they are also motivated more towards learning. We've already discussed this. It's an interesting presentation, compilation. You look at correlation between specific evaluation of instructional dimensions and overall teacher rating. Note it carefully. It's very easy to get confused. Correlation between specific evaluation of instructional dimensions. By instructional dimensions, we mean these things. The left hand side, knowledge of the teacher in the subject area, clarification of the objective of the course, simulation of interest in the subject area. These are teacher behaviors, or these are specific teaching behaviors. They are known by various names. These are called teacher behaviors. So, here what we are saying is correlation between specific evaluation of instructional dimensions. So, left hand side were instructional dimensions. Knowledge of subject matter in that area is an instructional dimension. The ability to simulate interest in the subject matter is an instructional dimension. So, there are multiple instructional dimensions in teaching. We put it about 18, some put it 24, and the maximum number is about 28. Beyond that, one finds that the instructional dimensions don't matter so much. I won't go into that directly. In this case, teacher preparation or course organization is what we are looking at, instructional dimension, which is what we had here earlier. Course organization has not been put individually. What we have looked at is clarification of objectives of the course, then the clarity of presentation, inclusion of recent developments. This is what we put, but in this case, course organization is a specific instructional dimension. Look at it. We are looking at in the correlation of instructional dimension, this particular instructional dimension, along with overall teacher rating. Students' rating of teachers and organization, this correlation. This is what we were trying to find earlier, that if I vary the organization ability, if I change the organizational ability, then how does the teacher rating change? In this case, you find that simulation of interest in the teacher in the courses, in the subject, is one, the highest importance, which means that the most important quality, the most important factor in making a good teaching is the ability of the teacher to simulate interest in that subject area. That is what the students think. In this case, the clarity of presentation is the next important thing according to the students for good teaching. The perceived outcome of instruction, if the students think that we have understood well, we have learned a lot, that is number 3 in deciding whether the teacher is a good teacher or not. And organization or clarity, organization of the course material, which we will come to detail, is number 6. This is the student's view of it. But we could also compare this with the student achievement. I think, and teachers' enthusiasm in the subject matter is 11. This was also my personal finding, although the papers were not published, but in 2006 or so, we found almost the same thing. There is a basket of qualities which affect teacher rating highly. We look at the correlation between specific evaluation of instructional dimension and the learning, student learning, rather than overall teacher rating in the next lecture.